was my test. Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Ed Levine from VCDL, along with Phil Van Cleve and Pat on January the 15th, Friday night, 8 p.m. Coming to you live to give you some updates on Lobby Day. And welcome and thank you for joining us. First off, please start sharing this video because you basically will be helping your fellow VCDLer, and you'll just updating them on all the information. So, Philip, you want to kick things off?
Yeah. So Lobby Day, boy, we're coming up fast. Time's moving quickly, and that's of course our focus right now. I'm kind of looking at what's going on in the General Assembly as far as bills, but I haven't checked today. But I checked late, like at 2 a.m, and there were at that time a total of 11 gun bills. 5 bad, 4 good, and 2 neutral. So it's interesting, but there's still plenty of time for bills to drop. So we will continue to watch, and soon we'll have action items and things for you to begin doing to fight these bills up. But right now, with Monday looming, our focus is pulling this final part together. I've been in communication with the police, just touching bases. And everything there is looking good. Touch bases with the bus company. Everything there is looking good. So, so far, everything is on track. We'll see how it all ultimately goes. But I think that the police are doing, I think, a good job, and I think they'll be there. I'm hopeful that this will remain peaceful, and I think we're going to have a big turnout, and that's what we need, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to matter. As I've told the press repeatedly today, I mean, some of them say, well, what if there's a chance of something happening? I said, look, every time we get in one of our cars and drive off, we know that we may not drive home again, that may be the last time we leave our house. We know that. We know there's a chance that we could end up crippled, forever quadriplegic because of a car accident. We know that. But life goes on. We have to move on with our lives. There's dangers around us all the time. We can't not live our lives. And VCDL,
like last year, we had 50 to 70,000 people, and people were like, "Oh, you can't go there. It's going to be World War III and everything." And we had the most peaceful event, and everybody was walking arm in arm from all races and creeds and colors and sex, and gay couples walking down the street with ARs. It was wonderful.
Yeah, and life goes on. Can anybody guarantee that nothing could possibly happen? No, of course not. But we can't hide in our basements. Like the president-elect, you can't do that. You've got to get out and live your life, and we've got to get on with our agenda. But what we're not flying blind. Again, we are in careful contact with the police. We're giving them any kind of intel that we might get that might be of use. I don't know that, we haven't heard much, and what we have heard, I'm pretty sure they may have already known about, but I'm letting them know. We're coordinating a direct hotline, not a 911 number. I mean, a hotline directly to somebody high up in each department, including the chief for the Capitol Police. He wanted to do this directly rather than let a lieutenant or a captain do it. So I said, fine, it's no problem at all. So we're taking it seriously, but we also are, we're moving forward because, again, I think we're covering the bases as well as you can cover them. I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a great day personally. And, Green Top apparently is now completely out of supplies again. We kept sending supplies. So a lot of people have been to that store. And then we got the other 49 that people have been going to and picking up items. And if you can't do that, deck out your own car, however but just make it about guns.
Speaking of decking out your car, so the people that deck out their car the best, send your pictures in to us, social media at vcdl.org, or if we see them ourselves on the road. The prizes are 3 U.S. Law Shield annual memberships already paid for. And that's from Gilbert Ambler and Sylvia from U.S. Law Shield. Mitch at Safe Side has given us 250 rounds of 9mm. I'm almost thinking we could split that up and make that 250 separate prizes at the price of.
Well, I'll tell you what. No, we could keep it the way you got it, but it comes with an armed guard or 5 or 6 armed guards so that they can give it to you safely and get it home.
Right.
It's like gold.
We're going to give away 4 VCDL memberships. And if you're already a member, then we'll just tack on a year to your membership. Henry from Huckleberry Tactical is going to build a custom inside the waistband holster for your gun up to $125 or something like that.
Oh, cool.
Ryan from PTP Gun Class is going to let you choose one of their gun classes, which are with over $1,000 value if you take their 2-day tactical gun class. And then the last one, which some are say is a priceless, invaluable grand prize, is going on a shooting range trip with our very own VCDL president, Philip Van Cleve.
Now, I will warn you, I am a shooter, so we'll have some fun.
Well, you should throw up the let's see who can hit this target for maybe let's make it interesting for a little money, and then
well, how about an rubber earplug put up on a target so you can hit it and first.
Right. One of the main questions that we been getting in social media, and just thanks again to my social media team and mods, because this is like the busiest week where they're going through literally thousands of posts per day. And they're doing it all for the same paycheck that they've gotten for years, which is zero. So thank you to them. But the biggest question they have is like, I want to get behind the bus. How do I know where the bus will be and when it's going to pass by? And that's a 2-part answer. One is the bus routes and everything are on our not on our Facebook page, on our regular webpage, VCDL.org. And on early Monday morning, like dark 30, the GPSs that are on those buses will fire up and give you pinpoint accuracy as the bus moves along. So if you're somewhere along the route and the bus is 2 hours away, then you can finish your coffee, eat your bagel, go to the bathroom and all the stuff before you hop in the car, check the GPS. And when they're starting to get like 30 minutes away, you can start making your way out to where you're going to jump on the road behind them. And that's the answer.
Or get together at the one of the waypoints. That's why we have waypoints.
Sure.
You can head to the waypoint with a bunch of other fellow patriots, and you can wait there together. And then we put the waypoints close to the expressway, so that once they kind of see, it looks like it's about 2 minutes out. Everybody starts heading towards the entrance ramp, getting ready to merge on.
Yeah, and like Chris Summers, what we're going to do is some of the information we're holding close to us a little bit, and then on either Sunday night, I think we might do another Facebook Live, or at least just do an update and tell people like what type of comm channels we're going to monitor, what we're going to do, what the URLs for the buses are going to do, and just kind of give everybody a brain dump of all the information at that time.
I do have some frequencies I'll probably put an alert a little bit earlier that I've got, that we are going to make public sooner. For those of you that want to communicate within one of the caravans. And I think that's important that everybody could stay in touch while you're driving. So anyhow, that will be coming out, but some information will come out later. Some will come out sooner. It just depends.
Yeah. And I saw a comment earlier. Somebody said that last year Antifa and BLM weren't coming for us. And truth is, yes, there were threats of Antifa infiltrating last year, and BLM and so on and so forth. All the threats that we've heard this year are the same ones that we heard last year. So, and regardless of whether there are credible threats or not, you can't live your life hiding from every what if that comes around the bend. It goes back to what Philip said. There's inherent dangers to living, and you have to go on with your life, and you have to do what's important and stand up for what's important. If we back down now, then I guarantee you every time we have any kind of a function at all, there will be some sort of credible threat that says you should back down because of.
Freedom and liberty are worth the risk.
Yes.
So another thing that's been hitting the social media pretty hard is, can you carry, what's going to happen? There's all these signs around Richmond. What do the signs mean? Are they applicable? Can you get in trouble? What if you actually get down and you get out of your car and you want to do that? And earlier tonight, the program attorney for U.S. Law Shield and also the owner of Ambler Law Offices, Gilbert Ambler. He put out a video, very informative video. We've put it on our social media, and it's also on our YouTube channel. And I'd like to bring him on to talk about that, if that's okay, Philip.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so let's welcome Gilbert to the show.
How are you all?
All right.
Hi, Gilbert.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. I saw the video. It's excellent. I would probably marry you, but I know that you already married Sylvia. You already married Sylvia, not recently, not long ago. So congratulations on that. And I also, Philip and Pat didn't get a chance to look at the video, but I thought it was great. And I thought rather than us talk about it without you online with us, let's just have a sit down. If you kind of want to paraphrase what you said in the video for the people that haven't seen it yet, and tell us about the signs in the Richmond and the ordinance.
Yeah, absolutely. So Richmond, of course, has been utilizing the power that they were given by the General Assembly under Virginia Annotated Code Section 15.2-915 to enact local gun control. Now, this local gun control allows them to control firearms and to ban firearms in permitted event areas, in areas that would otherwise require a permit, and in areas immediately adjacent to permitted event areas. And the issue that Richmond has right now is we know they don't have permitted events going on because they've canceled their permitted events. So the question is going to be, could the activities of Lobby Day, could what we're going to be participating in on Monday, could that be construed as an event that would otherwise require a permit? And I think that they would really have an uphill battle with that. Obviously, I can't tell you it's not possible. It's possible that they could try that, but they would have a difficult time bringing criminal charges. And the reason they would have a difficult time doing that is because how many times do people drive through Richmond, stop, get out of their vehicle, stretch their legs, do all sorts of activities, stop, go to the bathroom, go to restaurants, do some shopping. And obviously none of those activities count as an event that would otherwise require a permit. And so because the starting and ending destinations here of the buses are not in Richmond, we're literally talking about driving through the city of Richmond. I think that they're going to have a very, very difficult time making the case that people driving through Richmond, stopping at stoplights, obeying traffic signals. We're not asking for police escorts to shut down the city of Richmond as we come through. This is literally people traveling through the city, and they're going to have a difficult time making that case that would count as a event that would otherwise require a permit. Now, the guidance I gave in that video was if you come into contact with law enforcement, if your vehicle is stopped for any reason, do not consent to searches. And if they're going to search your vehicle, frankly, you're not going to win the argument right then and there. You're going to have to not allow them. They are going to search the vehicle if they're intent on making that search. But do not consent, because that will give you grounds to fight the search down the road if you are criminally charged. And the second part of that is if you are asked what you are doing or law enforcement want to engage with you, be polite with them, but don't discuss your day. Don't discuss why you are there. Don't discuss what you're doing, because the things you say could give them ammunition to use against you. If you say something to the effect of you being part of a coordinated effort to meet at a certain spot, well, then now you're giving them ammunition that they could use to make the case that you are part of an event that would otherwise require a permit. So don't make statements like that.
Philip, I think you're muted.
Sorry, muted. Didn't want to have any background noise.
Wouldn't be the first time we've wanted him muted.
Hey, yeah. I would be shocked if Richmond police tried anything like that. I just don't see that happening. We have a great relationship with the police departments we're dealing with. I don't think the police have any interest in trying to pull our chain. I really don't think that's the case. But you never know. But I would be totally shocked.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, from the defense perspective, we always look at worst case scenario. So it's probably not plausible. We're looking at what's possible. And I certainly, I would reiterate what you're saying, which we have no indication. No one has told us that. No one has reached out and said, hey, this is something that would require a permit. We have no reason to believe that they would treat it that way. We're just looking at worst case scenario.
And like this comment right here, the news articles about the no gun signs has been very misleading, and it appears the placement of the signs is just as misleading. So they're like, no guns anywhere allowed. Then it says, if you're at a permanent event, sign is out.
Yeah, a little tiny print. Well, we all know that all this is it's not about public safety. It's all about control. They don't want us to have guns, so they're gonna twist and do everything they can. Now, I'm not talking the police here. I'm talking leadership of Richmond, the mayor. Specifically, he surrounded by gun guys. He's got his own private detail, but we are discriminated against, and he doesn't want us having guns. It's a typical elitist position, and I'm sick of elitism personally. But he's the epitome of it. If you look in the dictionary, it's got his picture there.
Well, and the other thing is, if there is a permitted event and they put the signs up for the permitted event, then you have some indication that there is an event going on there. But if the signs are up 24/7, 365, you have absolutely no way of knowing if there's a permitted event or not. So how can you possibly?
I would argue, Pat, that's the point.
Yes.
They want to intimidate you. They don't want you to know when it is. They want you to never do it because you're afraid to, because the sign is there and you don't know. That is exactly the intent of this. There's no honor in this.
Well, it also seems to me that it makes the whole thing unenforceable.
Well, there was a town near me years ago. I don't know if you remember when I sued them, but they used to put up signs that are like no illegal guns in our parks. Like, well, that doesn't include me, but they want someone that is not in gun rights, that just carries a gun for self-defense and whatever, to see that sign and be like, oh, there's a sign. I'm not, because they don't know the law yet. So and then I was like, that sign means nothing. And they're like, we had to take it down.
I'm thinking, Gilbert, that the first time somebody enforces this thing, well, I know it was actually enforced, but change of trespass down in Newport News. But I'm thinking first time they try to enforce, especially the zones like this that come and go, I think that's going to be a good case to take to court, because I think they're going to be surprised at how the outcome of that.
Absolutely. One of the hallmarks of writing laws is that people have to be aware of when they're breaking laws. If they're not aware of when they're breaking laws, then we talk about a concept called constitutional vagueness. And if it's so vague that you're not sure if you're abiding by the law or not, then that's an unconstitutional law. And if that's what Richmond's trying to do, if what you suspect is what's going on, where they're trying to make it unclear so that no one's sure when they are or when they are not breaking the laws, well, then they are potentially, putting yourself in a situation where you have a defense that the court could turn to and say, this is unconstitutional.
I would call it chilling your rights, right? It's making you afraid to exercise a civil right. They're chilling that right. Oh yeah, you got it, but just try to exercise it. Again, I'm not faulting the police on this, because I think they've got their head on their shoulders about this. But the fear again is that Stoney is going to get his way by scaring gun owners with these stupid signs.
Tess was ribbing me a little bit about how the signs are going to, keep everybody safe. But speaking of Tess, that reminded me to just give a shout out to Tess and Layla for managing the buses again. Keep in mind, unlike last year where we had 50, 60, 70 buses bringing people in, these buses are more like our locomotive to lead the trains. But there's still some seats on them for people that absolutely cannot drive it. So if you would still like a seat on a bus, there's a few seats left. You can email bus@vcdl.org and talk about it.
Yeah, I would do it immediately, because we were technically going to cut off at 5, but Layla and Tess might maybe at least some leeway. I leave that up to them, but we're getting close.
Well, sorry about that if I created extra work.
I would say try it, and what we'll still do is they'll tell you we can't do it, but they might be able to squeeze you on if you haven't done it yet. I'll leave that to them.
Katie French, the waypoints are on the website, vcdl.org.
Yeah, and when we do the video of Lobby Day 2021, when it's over, we put together the video, the number of people we're going to be thanking is going to go on for quite a while. I mean, this is going to remind me of a production of a movie from Hollywood. There are so many people that are helping with this, from people distributing signs to like Matt Gottschalk, I went over to his house and he's the guy that does a lot of our videos, that does this professional quality stuff of like our lobby day videos. So I went over there and did some recording for Monday and stuff. We got him, we got Ed, we got Brendan Mooney and all of his people out in the beach working that part of the state. All these people that volunteered to carry our signs, all the stores and stuff. It's going to go on for a while. I'm telling you, this is not a small production. And done in a very short period of time. Pat, I don't know how she does what she does. She's I don't know. I think there's 3 Pats and she hasn't told us that one goes to sleep and the other 2 keep going for a while. Even then,
you found me out.
Yeah, I had to be something like that. Between and everything, there's a lot going into this. A lot of people are putting their heart and soul and effort into this to make this a success. And I could tell you Lobby Day last year was a success. And if we make this a success too, this will greatly help protect us, because we need to turn all this around. And in 2022, I'm hoping we can start to turn this ship around and get back our rights.
Yeah, Jeffrey, we don't have any estimation on the number of people. We don't call for people to let us know they're coming or anything like that. So we will find out on Monday how many people.
Before you answer that, I said, ask me Monday night and I'll tell them.
Well, we really do need to have somebody standing on broad counting the vehicles going by and keeping a tally, our own tally of how many vehicles went through.
I was going to say we could have had a drone to take pictures of it, but they just made it a no-fly zone, so we can't have a drone up there.
Right. Yeah. So what we would like for those of you who have GoPros, body cams, dash cams, things like that, or just use your cell phone, record the event. Talk to other people about why they're there. If you're walking around in Richmond, record your experience and send us some videos so that we can put together a collage of videos of different people's experience at Lobby Day and encourage other people.
Yeah, and be a citizen journalist, basically. Show the other journalists how it's done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You mean tell the truth?
Yes. There's going to be some of the people that you guys are very familiar with, like Jared with Guns and Gadgets, and just quite a few people like that have big followers on YouTube and stuff are going to be there in person. They've done a video for us. It'll be part of the streaming that you'll see. You'll see their presentations, and they're all. I mean, we've got some wonderful people on our side. Thank heavens they're on our side that do these videos and stuff. And you're going to be surprised at some of them. But, one of those, for example, was Liberty Doll. I mean, she as usual, she does she's really good at what she does. And we've got just all these videos. I was watching a lot of them as I was recording the intros. I'm introducing a lot of the people, but not all of them. I looked at that. I was so psyched. We got at least 2 hours, maybe more, maybe 2.5 hours straight, which we're not going to play it straight, but we have that much straight of people talking about Lobby Day and so forth. I'm psyched on that too. I think you're going to really enjoy that when that's put out.
Yep. And if you have a navigator, that navigator can also act as your cameraman, so to speak, and can also play some live streaming of the speakers and things while you're driving down the road. Do be aware that the new law went into effect. You're not allowed to hold a cell phone in your hand while you're driving. So let your navigator take care of the phone.
I know we had Gilbert on to answer that question about the thing, but I just checked with him and he's got the time if we wanted to have him just hang out with us during the rest of the show.
Oh yeah, sure. A legal question might well come up. Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
All right, I think what Michael Parker's asking, watching you live, if a police officer asks if you have a firearm, are you required to tell them so? Is that only true if carrying on person versus carrying in a vehicle? I can answer that, or we can have an attorney answer that one. We let an attorney take that one on. You want to do that one?
Sure. So if you are carrying a concealed weapon upon lawful demand by a law enforcement officer, you do have to be able to provide your concealed handgun permit as well as a form of photo identification. So typically a driver's license would suffice. You also referenced something about the federal law, the Firearm Owners Protection Act. I'm not sure whether you're referencing the Safe Passage Act, safe passage provisions. I saw some confusion on social media with that earlier. The safe passage provisions allow someone to go from one place where they can legally possess a firearm to another place where they can legally possess the firearm, so long as it is unloaded, secured, and the ammunition separated. And that provision allows you to go through an area where you could not otherwise possess it. And again, this is federal law. The important thing, it does not allow you to stop in an area where you cannot possess it, and the firearm absolutely cannot be loaded. So for most people, that federal law is going to be inapplicable for what we're talking about here today. That law is most applicable when traveling interstate, when traveling between different states.
And the reason that's applicable was because someone asked that in the group today that Gilbert answered, and his answer is like, well, that's what my concealed handgun instructor told me, that I got my concealed permit and I'm driving through Maryland. I can open carry or have it on my hip and drive right through. And I'm like, we need to know where you got your permit and who trained you that, so that can be corrected.
Credentials, yeah.
When the cops used to ask me, do you have any guns, knives, and other weapons in your car? My answer used to be, why? What do you need? Well, now it's.
Well, yeah. The truth is, if they ask you, you don't have to tell them. Period.
Right.
Now, don't lie to them, but you don't have to tell them. You can change the subject. Why? Like what Ed did. Why do you need one? Or something, or change the subject, or just politely not answer.
You can say, why do you ask? Does it have anything to do with why you pulled me over?
True. And by the way, when they pull you over, when they're done writing you the ticket, they're supposed to let you go at that point post haste. They can't just hold you forever after they've written you your ticket for speeding or whatever you were stopped for.
What, you used to be a cop?
Yeah. Well, what do I know? As a cop, Gilbert's the one that knows the law.
I think one of the go-tos in that situation is just to tell them that you're not comfortable discussing what you're doing that day, because you don't have to.
Yeah. But to be polite. Boy, the rudeness and stuff get you nowhere. It's nowhere. Just be polite, smile, be relaxed. My new
answer is, thank you for stopping me and being polite, officer. Do you know who Gilbert Ambler is?
Well, we tell you if you do get pulled over, stop, pull over, turn on the inside dome if it's at night. While your engine's still running, roll the windows down, then turn the engine off and put your hands out the window and just wait for them to come up. When they're walking up to a car with the engine off, the windows down, the lights on, hands out the window, they're going to be pretty sure they've stopped a cop or somebody like that. They're going to, first of all, that will help greatly. They'll walk up and they're still going to be careful. They're going to touch the back of your car to put their fingerprints on it when they walk up in case something happens. But they're going to be much more at ease knowing that you're complying. But that's, anyhow, that's a thought if you do get stopped. Like I say, I really am not. I'm not expecting. I do not look at the Richmond police or the state police or the Capitol Police as anything but a professional organization. They're not our enemy. They're our friends.
But back to what Gilbert was saying earlier, if you do get stopped by the police and they start asking a bunch of questions, just remember this: keep your big mouth shut.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan Hawes.
Yeah.
Good. Would we want to say anything about what happened, what we saw in the news on the NRA, or no comment really? Or?
Well, I mean, it's just, I don't think that's a surprise to anybody, considering all that's been going on at the NRA. What they've done is they filed bankruptcy. That doesn't necessarily mean they're out of business, but it basically protects them from creditors coming to them and allows them to reorganize themselves to come back later, assuming that they can. And what they're looking at doing is moving apparently from New York to Texas. And I think that's a good move. I don't know why anybody would want to be in New York that's in any way, shape, or form associated with guns or liberty or freedom.
Right.
Well, there's an answer to a question that people ask all the time: are the buses going to stop? And there's your answer from the bus leader herself.
Yeah, we can't have them stop.
All right.
Let's see what else have we got in here.
What other questions do we have?
I was looking at that.
People did ask questions about restaurants, and obviously with COVID and everything else, restaurants are just doing their own thing. VCDL is not sponsoring any restaurants. We're not getting any kickbacks from any restaurants. I know Tess asked them if you're going to be open on that day, just so we can tell our members in case they're hungry and they want a place to eat. So I think she put that list out there on the website, but that doesn't mean, they're just a business. Whether they're open or not is all of their own doing and own being.
It was a convenience for anybody that might be out walking around downtown or driving in the Caravan and decide they're hungry. Like me, I'm diabetic. When it's time to eat, it's time to eat. But yeah, it was a convenience for everybody. Just, are you open or not? Some were enthusiastic about what we do, and some, we're just restaurants. There's no problem with that. Restaurant doesn't have to take a position.
People are asking about cameras. Whether run with your. I always say have a dash. I got dash cams on my motorcycle and in my cars. And like if you look back to the other lobby day videos where Philip posted his body cam, it was a camera similar to this that just snaps on, runs all day, and records audio and video of your day. Not so much in case something happens and you get in trouble, but it just documents everything. It was a great document. I think it was like 44 minutes long. It's on our YouTube channel. It's wonderful for a couple reasons. It's wonderful to see what happened if you weren't there. It's wonderful to see the respect and professionalism of our organization president and how people respond to him as he walks through the crowd. And really, you can just tell that Philip was just really taken back by how many people support us and our efforts and what we do. And it kind of gives us that drive to keep on going.
Yeah, we were so successful. Again, I think there's a lot of people that like to squelch that and brush it off, but there's no doubt with some major success. I still hear about it all the time. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't hear about somebody talking about that success down there. So this works. You guys getting together in a crowd that big, it works, and it scares the heck out of the other side. It absolutely does. This is not what they want.
If it was not effective, then A, we wouldn't have them trying so hard to block our rallies for this year. And B, we would not have blocked all of the gun control bills. They have not even considered bringing HB 961 back this year.
Thank you for that, Pat, because every day is walking around, driving around, everything you do in Richmond last year, this year, none of it does a thing, Philip.
Yeah, it goes on and on. Yeah, I see there were some questions about somebody's asking about walking around. If they had more than a 20-round magazine. Yeah, you have to have a concealed handgun permit in Richmond if you have a firearm that has more than a 20 round. 20 is okay. 21 isn't, and it's a center fire. So if you've got a PMR 30, it's a gun I have, a 30 round 22 Magnum, that's rim fire. I could have that loaded to 30 without a permit. And be just fine.
Or this.
Oh yeah, if you got a threaded barrel, you have to have regardless of what magazine you've got. If you got a threaded barrel, you have to have a concealed handgun permit, assuming your gun's loaded. If your gun's not loaded, none of that applies. If you've got the magazine in your pocket and you've got the gun but with no magazine in it, then that it only applies to a loaded gun. So, and whether just having a magazine in the gun counts as loaded. If there's nothing in the chamber is another question. The only definition of loaded that we ever found, and Gilbert, you might be a good person to answer this. In fact, why don't I let you answer? The only thing I ever found myself was a hunting definition of loaded.
That's the only one I'm aware of as well. So I think that what would likely happen is that they would look and will probably turn to what other states have done in assessing what is loaded, because we have such a flimsy definition here in Virginia. And so I would tell you that based on how other states construe loaded, probably magazine in the gun with an empty chamber will still be construed as loaded. Now, I don't know that for sure. It's certainly something we could argue in your defense, but I would not rely on that.
Yeah, we need to get that law spelled out. People should know a definition like that. They should not be up to the to one judge or another to decide. It should be crystal clear so that none of us get in trouble. I can tell you in Utah, the definition is there's got to be a round under the hammer, or if you pull the trigger once, the gun would go off. So if you've got a 45 with the hammer down, 45 1911, and you had a cartridge in there, that would be loaded. Although if you pulled the trigger once, nothing would happen if it wasn't cocked. For a revolver, it turned it into from a 6-shot revolver to a 4-shot, because you couldn't have one under the hammer. And if you pulled the trigger once, it couldn't go off. So you had to take away another round. But if you pulled it twice, that's okay. That's their definition. They vary by state. We need to fix that. That's sad that we don't have a clean definition. And it should be one in the chamber. That should be the definition. But,
Hey, Philip,
Or just get rid of the restrictions.
Well, yeah. But if you're going to
give us a recap, a Reader's Digest version of the permit process and the bell tower, and because someone's asking, can we apply for our permit for 2022 already?
Yeah, good question. Look, they're going to change the rules. We've already seen what they're proposing, and there's no reason to think they aren't going to do it. I mean, at some point, when they're ready for comment, I'll probably have you guys comment. But what they're going to do, what they basically say is, if any senator, delegate, or the governor needs to use the bell tower, anybody that is got that time slot is automatically their permits revoked or they're delayed. In other words, we book it a year in advance, even if we're allowed to do that. And we say we want it at 11 a.m. We plan, people are coming, we got our PA system or whatever, and then they go at 9 a.m. We need it at 11 a.m. Sorry, yeah, you can't have it. Your deal's canceled. So that's totally bogus. And that allows them to completely control the narrative of who's speaking there, because they'll just shut down. They'll move you, and they know that'll destroy it. Well, as Ed was saying. So you spend $50,000 on buses, the advertisements, all these people taking off work, they're all showing up, and now you can't have it. Now what do? You postpone it.
They told us we could have like a 10-watt PA, but when the governor has a PA, they've got the 100-watt PAs that you can hear blocks away.
Yeah.
Right.
They control that. And on top of that, there's an even worse provision. It's worse. If you say, let's say you say there's going to have 1,000 people there, okay? And they give you a permit for 1,000 people. If 1,001 show up, they can cancel you on the spot. So right in the middle of a rally, 1,001 shows up, that extra person, and they can say, pull the microphones, we're done.
Yeah, somebody walking by and just on the street and see something going on and happens to wander over, that blows your numbers right there. So the short answer is we're looking at other options where we don't have to worry about their silly rules and them moving the goalposts continually.
Yeah, they're shut us down if they want to, use playing by their rules, and we can't do that.
So we're taking control of future lobby days and putting it on our terms instead of theirs.
We'll see what, we may have to do another rolling lobby day next year. We may do this again next year. I don't know, but it's an option. But we're looking at other ideas, and we looked at some this year, but the timing wasn't right. So maybe we can do one of these other options next year. But I don't think we'll be using the bell tower anytime soon. That's just, again, they've stacked the deck. They've made it clear that they want to be able to pick and choose who has First Amendment rights. And I guarantee, until we get a new governor, which, by the way, we will have a new governor this time next year, that understands freedom and liberty, we're gonna have to deal with it.
I think that would be Terry McAuliffe. So if you're bored and you got 20 minutes and want to watch a fun little video, go to fastterry, TERRY.com, fastterry.com. Interesting little video. That message right there was sponsored by Ed Levine, not VCDL, not the PAC, nothing. That's my own personal opinion that it's an entertaining video. Fastterry.com.
All right, let's see.
Let's see what else we got here.
Yeah, no walk-ons that have been allowed if it put us over the top. It's just it's just about shutting us down. There's no logic, no reason to it. There's no, if 5 people extra show up out of 1,000, that's a fraction of a percent. It's politics.
So Richard's asking what was the comment about Phil speaking for VCDL about. I thought there was another Rich that said, well, if the media approaches any of you or whatever, you're certainly welcome to talk to whoever you want, but only Philip speaks for the VCDL. And on limited occasion, when we brief each other, then I will sometimes answer questions on behalf of VCDL, but Philip is the mouth of VCDL. That's what that comment meant.
Yeah, so you can say, "Hi, I'm speaking just to." Yeah, you can say, I'm speaking just as an individual here, not as VCDL. Here's my opinion on what you just asked me."
Right, and you can say you're a VCDL member, but as far as speaking for the organization, Philip is the one that does that.
Speaking of VCDL members, Pat, how do you join?
Well, that's pretty easy. Go to vcdl.org/join and sign up. If you want to renew, if you've been a member in the past, you can log into the website with your email address and click the renew button. But if you've been a member before and you can't log into the website, send an email to membership@vcdl.org and we'll help you get logged in without creating a duplicate account, please.
What if you want to support us and you just can't come take the bus and you can't go to Richmond? Is there any way to financially support us online?
Oh, sure. Go to vcdl.org/donate.
We're going to have some interesting vehicles in the Caravan. I know that we've got one of these big flatbed, major 18-wheel flatbeds coming up with flags all over it. We're going to have probably may even have some semis in the very likely in the Caravans. We even have some of these older military trucks that people have bought, the big ones like troop carriers.
Like the Deuce and a Half.
Yes, that will be there. So it's going to be fun to watch these vehicles all decked out going through Richmond.
Sure, I put a challenge on my social media page. Telling people that I know if they have a big rig, go ahead and decorate that thing up and get in the procession.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Yeah. And there may be some other buses there. Hopefully they'll get at least decked out a little bit. I think there were a few other, at least a few that I know of that we're going to do buses this year. Last year we had tons of buses, but that was a different affair. Last year we wanted people to be in Richmond walking around, so we were bussing them in like mad. This year, we want them driving in vehicles in massive caravans. So the buses they serve a different purpose. They're more of a large advertisement for gun rights.
Right. And I think it's appropriate, since you mentioned buses, to give a shout out to VCDL member Paul Conti. He organized the buses last year, 80 some buses, close to 90 buses for VCDL, and came down here from New Jersey just to make sure that everything went smoothly, and actually joined VCDL last year. And this year he was really excited to help us out with buses again, and has been, even in the middle of the night, working on keeping things running smoothly, and will be down here again this year. So big thanks to Paul.
Again, that's another one we need to put on the list. There's just going to be so many people to thank, but we're lucky. Well, the talent we've got in this organization, all these people out there. I asked for, hey, any hams out there that can help us with communication? Oh my God, do we have hams out there? Oh, it was like, gee, whoa, look at my inbox, just exploded with all these patriots saying, yeah, hey, I can help you. I got the following equipment. And so thank God I had somebody that's handling that, and I just forwarded everything on, and it's all being handled. It was just amazing. But I've come to try to get used to that whatever help we need, there's somebody out there in that world that watches VA Alert or is a member that's got whatever talent it is we need, or whatever.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful.
And people volunteering to help out since MailChimp dumped us. Got a ton of emails about that as well. So we do have that situation under control, but we really appreciate everybody that spoke up and offered to help.
Do we know if any of these, let's see if we can say, any of these big corrugated cardboard signs are available somewhere? People ask about those.
I have some at my store. I'm a little off the beaten path. I'm about 15 miles west of King's Dominion. So I still have some left, and I don't know what other stores do.
Yeah, I had somebody tell me that Green Top was completely out, at least out of flags and maybe out of everything. And we kept restocking them with big things, and they're out again, I think. Now, maybe they got restocked.
And we're
I
not
had all my emails to verify.
Well,
we're not having our
Green Top being one of the jump in points, whatever I have left on Sunday, I will drop off at Green Top so that people joining up on Monday can pick them up.
I was just gonna say all the places where you're picking up supplies, they're not selling them. It's on the honor system that you will send the donation to VCDL to pay for them. So we don't want to have people that are already strapped and trying to run their business, trying to collect for a flag and a magnet and something like that. So do we want to run by the donate again and the prices for the items?
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. You just donate the way you normally would on our website. There's a donate or a not donate. That's not the word we usually use. But the
button says donate, but it's fine. VCDL.org/donate.
Yeah. So anyhow, and it's $10 for a flag, $10 for the sign that you saw Ed showing a picture of him holding, $5 for a magnet, and $5 for a
sticker.
And so that would be a $10 thing. So it's a good size sign. It's on both sides. So if you hold it up, it's both sides have the right. So that's all it is. So it's an honor system. I mean, we don't lose a night's sleep about you guys in an honor system. I mean, if anybody out there could be trusted, it's you guys.
Absolutely. I had a gentleman come in this evening, right as I was closing the shop up, and picked up a couple things and handed me $100 bill. He said, put it wherever it'll do the most good.
Yeah, we have a lot of people that have donated, and if you have any extra money you want to donate, we'll certainly take it. I told you earlier, if you missed it, one of the grand prizes for one of the best dressed vehicles was to shoot with Philip, and we had a supporter immediately donate $499.99, and they didn't want to win that shoot with Philip because they wanted to leave it for someone else, and that was a $500 value or something else. So we have very faithful followers out there that are really trying to help, and we understand if you can't donate. We understand it if you can't. It's not, a lot of people are out of work and are really strapped. Hopefully, as things get better, you can not only renew your membership, but you can join up your neighbor or family friend.
Yeah, that's what I see. If you've fallen on hard times and you can't afford the flag, but you want to be a part of this, then pick up a flag. We would rather have you there, with your car marked than not there because you didn't have money to be putting towards this stuff. Your presence is what counts.
Good point, Chris. Because we all got $600 recently.
Yeah, well, that's gun money, right?
What? You can't find guns. You can't find ammo, so you may as well give it to us. Hey, deck your car out. If you're number one, you're going to get 250 rounds of 9mm. Like I say, you'll have an armed guard to go with it. It's kind of like looking at pictures of dinosaurs. Oh, that's what a 9mm looked like. I hadn't seen one of those in a while. Unbelievable. But it just means America, it's nothing to do with the manufacturers holding back or playing games with us. I'm convinced they are cranking them out as fast as they can. But between COVID and the demand, what happens is, too, when you have a choke point like this, people that would have normally bought 4 or 5 boxes, maybe a year or every 6 months, I can't imagine any of this, but they suddenly said, I can't even find that. So now they're getting the idea, well, maybe I better buy 1,000 rounds, where they would never have done that before. Now you got all those new people suddenly sucking up way more than they would have normally got. And now you got the new people coming in going, yeah, but I've got a gun and I don't have any ammo, so I'm going to pay whatever's out there because I need something for my gun. It doesn't do me any good if I don't have ammo. So all of this is just it's a spiral right now. It will at some point it will level out sometime this year. Hopefully, it'll level out and prices will start to come back down to normal, and we'll be able to find stuff in stores. But in the meantime, those of you that have been stocking up, you're smart.
Okay. Gilbert, you have anything you need to talk about?
I'm excited for another successful lobby day with you all. So I'm excited to see you all on Monday, and hope to see a lot of other patrons out there.
Just so people aren't confused, I know you're Gilbert Ambler from Ambler Law Firm, but you're also one of the program attorneys for U.S. Law Shield, right?
I do represent U.S. Law Shield members as well. And I will tell you, not only Law Shield members can always call me and get free legal advice, but I am making sure that our phones stay open this weekend. So if other VCDL members have questions leading up to Lobby Day about anything that they're worried about as they're traveling through Richmond, my office phones are going to be answered all weekend. So I'm happy to talk with VCDL members, point them in the right direction. My office number is 540-550-4236.
And, just so people know that Pat and others have gone through, and we have a full legal plan comparison at vcdl.org that shows the difference. So, I use U.S. Law Shield. It doesn't mean it might be the one for you, but there's CCW Safe, USCCA. There's like 12 of them. U.S. Law Shield just happens to be one of them. So I suggest you go to vcdl.org, read through them, look at the little plans, and pick out which one might be best for you.
Yeah, I wasn't watching the Jewish thing. I'm sorry. I saw somebody who was this Chris Martin. Can we shoot with Ed for $250?
It's not Ed.
So I want to give a shout out to Gilbert here. A big thank you, because a lot of times people will send emails or phone calls to VCDL with specific legal questions, and sometimes we can answer them ourselves, but sometimes we need to refer them to somebody. And Gilbert and John Pierce volunteer to field a lot of those phone calls and emails, and they don't charge anything for it. They volunteer that time. So as you know, with an attorney, time is money. So we do greatly appreciate that. And I want to give special thanks to Gilbert and John both.
Yeah, just like you guys. I mean, John and Gilbert are some of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet. They're more about public service than anything, and we appreciate that. We're lucky. Again, we're blessed with really, really good people on our side.
I did think about doing that old Howard Stern skit where he called one Chinese food place, gave him a bunch of Chinese food, and then he called another one and said, "Read back my order," and put the two phones together. And I tried to find something that I could find them different, Gilbert and John Pierce different on, and hook the two lawyers up to argue about back and forth with each other. But they're pretty much in the same lane on everything. So it's comforting, and it also shows that they both know what they're talking about.
And somebody asked Gilbert to repeat his number again.
Yeah, that's 540-550-4236. And frankly, I'd much rather, you guys have been saying kind words about me, but it matters for our gun rights, because when people mess up and they accidentally or they unintentionally do something that breaks the law, it looks bad for everybody. So if you're not sure, I would much rather, it's worth it for me as a gun owner to spend time talking with you. So call in and let's talk it through and make sure that you understand what the laws are, rather than getting yourself accidentally in trouble.
I believe the person that posted that phone number would be your better half.
She normally looks out for me.
Sylvia, thank you, because we all know that volunteering for an organization like this is not just the person that volunteers. Their whole family gets behind them and supports them. So thanks to Sylvia, thanks to Margaret, Philip's wife, Ed, thanks to your wife also, and to my husband. So it is a family thing.
Yeah,
everybody participates.
So Scott's saying Philip for president. He already is the president.
Yeah, I do. I one time somebody was joking like that, and I went and got I've got it back somewhere else. I got a little thing years ago. They had somebody run. It was a gubernatorial race in Virginia, and nobody liked either of the candidates. So a bunch of people printed up things that said, Phil Van Cleve for governor. And it was hilarious. People were putting them on their trucks and stuff. It was a protest to say, give us a candidate, for crying out loud.
Did you
So I may
find
have
out how
gotten
many
2
votes you got
back.
that year?
I don't know. I should probably find out. That would be an interesting thing to know. Hey, I got 5 people to vote for me for governor.
And I'm sure if back to U.S. Law Shield for a second, if you're interested in U.S. Law Shield and you want to talk to them about it, Gilbert can then put you in touch with Sylvia, who talks about U.S. Law Shield. And, even you guys still do with the COVID, do you guys still come out and do the seminars, Gilbert?
We do. They've certainly slowed them down, but they get me out a couple times a month still to talk about gun laws. And it's another opportunity if you have specific questions. Typically when we're out talking, we're talking about the use of deadly force and when you can and when you cannot use deadly force in Virginia. But I'm happy to discuss whatever people have in mind. So if you look for those events and find one near you, come say hi.
Yeah, we absolutely want our members to be right on top of the gun laws. We want all our members to be safe and secure and not have to worry about breaking a law somewhere, because we're all about law and order in this organization. We want people to have happy, safe lives. And we appreciate what you're doing on that. And we encourage it. While we don't think the government should dictate having to take classes on guns to get a permit or anything, we think it's a good idea to do it. We just don't think the government is the one to be dictating about how or where or when you do it.
Totally agree. The government should inform, but should not govern as far as forcing you to do it. So I'm on the same page.
So speaking, we're only 15 days into the month, and what happened on the 1st was something else that a lot of people talk about, and that is the online training has gone away. So you need to get trained in person to get your concealed handgun permit now.
Yeah, with the COVID restrictions, that's really put a crimp in things.
Odie Dillon was asking if I got his alert email, and I got so many emails. I think I did. When I get one for the alert, I flag it so that later on I can, with a push of a button, I can pull all the emails together for an alert. And I think I did, but on the other hand, I have 300 I haven't gotten to yet today. I just have been trying and I can't get there. So I'm going to try and finish those before midnight.
Okay, well, that's everything I had on my list. And my final thoughts are, I guess one question I have is, are we going to try and do a live on Sunday, Philip, or some sort of update?
Yes, I think we should do one more of these at the last minute, covering any details that may be come up and go over anything. For example, by then we will have put out the frequencies, the maps where you can watch the buses, travel, and other stuff. There'll be a lot of information we'll be releasing by then.
You want to shoot for like 8 p.m. Sunday night to have people tune back in?
Yeah, I suppose that'll work. We'll do it 8 p.m. Sunday, and
I know there's some dinners and some things. Or do we want to do 9?
I don't want to do it too late because some people are going to be getting up in the morning.
Oh, right.
Yeah, not all of us live in Richmond, so including you. But we got that. So yeah, we don't want to do it too late, but we'll have plenty to advise. Plus, we may want to schedule one of these for Tuesday or Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
Because those that couldn't make it, those that did make it, I think we're going to have a lot of people here that are going to want to talk about their experiences and so forth. So I think that would be a good idea. So we may want to look at either Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe Wednesday, to let
Wednesday
us all.
might be better because I'll be at SHOT Show even though it's canceled.
Right. Yeah, I think a Wednesday maybe give everybody a chance to crash after Monday, because the stress of this is unbelievable, as you all know. I'm not surprising anybody out there, but so we need some time to come down. We're even doing a board meeting that day, so it's just going to be total activity. So on Wednesday, I think maybe we'll look at doing a recap. And then over time, we'll eventually have a video of 2021 Lobby Day. We'll have the streaming video that was played that day. That will be available. So you'll be able, if you couldn't make it, you'll be able to sit down and watch the whole thing.
Right now, we'll shoot for 8 o'clock on Sunday night.
Yeah, well, why don't we do that? And then maybe 8 o'clock on Wednesday night.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll talk to you again on Sunday night. And if we don't see you or talk to you on Sunday night, travel safe, have fun, try and relax.
One more thing, like Philip said, he's getting tons and tons of emails right now. If you have an email to send it to VCDL with a question and Philip does not need to see it, you can send it to questions@vcdl.org. And I believe that's plural.
Yes.
Questions plural at vcdl.org. And that will help take some of the load off of Philip's inbox.
Well, for the next 2 days, let's just funnel those to Gilbert.
I have a feeling his inbox is going to be pretty full too.
Yeah, he could have made a finger gun and pointed it to his left. And
I'm happy to help when I can.
yeah, I think you might resent that one.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Good seeing.
Appreciate you joining in and sharing this video.
All right, we'll see you Monday.
Good night.
Good night.